Welcome to the Savvy Podcast, where real conversations help you sharpen your English skills. Today, we're diving into the world of creativity with two incredible guests. First, Michael, the Australian Picasso, and Migs, a modern-day Shakespeare. We'll be exploring their influences growing up, the quirks of British and Australian humour, the art scene in Spain, and their exciting new projects. So whether you're an artist, a writer, or just someone looking for inspiration, this episode is for you. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, welcome Migs and Michael to the Savvy Podcast. How are you today, Migs?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
And Michael?
Very well. Thank you.
Good, perfect. Now, today we're going to be talking about arts and creating, but you're both savvy coaches. But what do you like to do in your free time, Michael?
I'm a painter, actually, abstract artist.
And do you have anything going on at the moment?
Well, I'm always painting about 4 nights a week. Got my studio just down the road from home. I was painting last night, actually. So today, at the moment, I'm working on a solo show coming up in April.
Where will the solo show be?
Okay, it's in Valencia, actually. It's at a gallery in Montolivet, called Bloom Gallery. It'll be my first solo show in probably about 6 years.
Well, I will try and come down to see it. And Migs, how about yourself?
Well, I studied writing at university, and it is what I like to do in my free time. I write scripts, guiones, and also used to write poetry, but I've kind of let that slip a little bit.
What is to let slip?
It means
difficult.
To drop something that you... to not do something as regularly, or to stop practicing something.
Yeah, give up, I suppose.
Yeah, almost.
Similar,
Yeah.
Now, Michael, did you have any influences growing up? Like, was your family creative at all? And did that influence you?
Definitely, yeah, on my mother's side. So her auntie and cousin were very good artists. From my earliest memories, Christmas presents, for example, my brother would always get the cool presents like Lego, and I'd get paintbrushes and watercolours. I appreciate that now, but I definitely wanted the Lego when I was a kid.
Yeah, and Migs, did you grow up with around art as well, or writing, or?
Well, I grew up in the West Country in southwest England, which is quite an alternative area. It's probably like the hippie capital of England.
Where specifically in the south?
It's a small town called Ashburton. It's between Exeter and Plymouth, and it's very close to a town called Totnes, which is kind of semi-famous as an alternative hub. It's sort of jokingly twinned with Narnia.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, so you get the idea. But yeah, I grew up around many alternative people and in the countryside, so we didn't really spend too much time indoors. We were quite out, living a bit like Lord of the Flies. So I think that influenced me a bit.
And Michael, you grew up in Melbourne, which is also quite near Melbourne, which is quite an artistic place. Do you think that affected you at all?
Where I grew up, no. Where I grew up was a big town on the coast. So we grew up surfing and playing football more than art. But at the same time, I always had a pencil or something in my hand, drawing.
Other than your families, did you have any influences, any famous people that influenced you as a writer, Migs?
Yeah, I'm probably not the most well-known person, but my kind of writing hero, or the person that really got me into writing, was Peter Cook. I write scripts, and I mainly like comedy, and British comedy especially. And Peter Cook was kind of like the godfather of a lot of well-known British comedy. He inspired the likes of Monty Python and people like that. So he's actually from the 1960s. It's not particularly cool, but people like Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie and a lot of future comedians were influenced by his work.
Do you have any recommendations for students of sitcoms or comedies, British instead of The Big Bang Theory? Something else?
British comedy is quite particular, so it's not always the most accessible because it's quite based on our culture and it reflects British culture. So it normally looks at inhibitions and uncomfortable situations quite often. But I would recommend Peep Show, The British Office. If you've seen the American one, it's worth seeing the British one as well. Royal Family, I think, is fantastic.
Yeah, amazing, yeah.
There are many, yeah.
Good recommendations. And Michael...
The British Shameless was fantastic as well.
As well, yeah.
That's a great recommendation,
yeah.
A little bit dark as well at times, yeah. Is there any Australian comedies you would recommend? Because that's a different humour as well than the British humour.
Off the top of my head...
Oh, off the top of your head.
Oh, sorry.
So no, off the top of your head. What does that mean?
You can explain that, Sam. Off the top of my head. The first thing that comes to me.
Yes, yeah. Off the top of my head, it's difficult to think of a explanation for top of my head. Off the top of my head.
Off the top of my head, no. Australian comedy.
I've been recommended a film called The Castle.
Okay, yes. And
is that any good?
Again, it's very Australian.
Right.
So maybe for some foreigners, quite difficult to understand the humour.
Yeah.
It's incredibly Australian. It's about the culture.
Yeah.
What is The Castle about?
The government possessing land, and it's a working class family taking a stand against the government, and it's very tongue-in-cheek with the Australian.
Wow, tongue-in-cheek mix. I'm gonna pass that to you. What is tongue-in-cheek?
It's when you say something, you're giving the impression of one thing, but you're meaning another. So you're kind of mocking a situation almost.
Yeah, making a joke at a person. No? Yeah. Or a situation. Yeah. And did you have any influences growing up, Michael, of any artists that you enjoyed the work of?
I think the most obvious that sticks with me from teenage years up until now, till today, is the Spanish painter that everybody knows, which is Picasso. I never stopped looking at his work, which has been 35 years in the making now.
And you can definitely see that in your work, that there's an influence from Picasso.
More now today than before.
Yeah. I remember writing a WhatsApp to you once that I had seen an artist who was a knockoff Picasso, and you weren't happy that I was comparing you to a knockoff Picasso as well.
What would you say? How would you explain knockoff?
So knockoff is a copy of
falsification.
A copy of someone else, but not as good as the original. But Michael, I think you're as good as Picasso.
Yeah,
if not better.
If not better than Picasso.
He does too.
Good. And Migs, how do you think people's cultures and backgrounds affect their work or their artistic work? Like in England, we have a lot of writers and musicians. Do you think there's anything about English culture that encourages that?
I don't know. I mean, I think every culture has its own kind of identity and it's expressed through art and creativity. Quite often, art is a reaction to stuff. So I think a lot of British creativity or music or comedy or writing has been a reaction to the situation in the country. And quite often when you have quite a difficult time, they say that a lot of art and creativity comes out of those periods because people are kind of angry or they have an energy, and it depends on the cultural situation but also on the people.
Does that help you when you're creating? When you're angry and frustrated, you produce better works?
I guess I think something that's quite English and can be a positive thing and can also be a really negative thing is that we quite often have a dialogue going on in our head in the background, and it can make us quite inhibited. That's why you don't see us dancing or singing unless we're drunk. But it can also mean that you're kind of always analysing situations. So it can put you in really awkward and uncomfortable moments.
What is awkward? Because I've heard it's difficult.
It's similar to uncomfortable. It's like a moment where potentially you or the people you're with would feel uncomfortable, and there's a tension in the air.
Yeah, exactly. I feel it's a word that we use a lot in English. It's
Definitely.
an awkward situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michael, Australian culture, do you think that's affected your art at all? No.
No, sorry, it hasn't. It can be cut.
Moving on to the next one. Michael, why do you enjoy creating? Do you find it helpful to relax, escape from your day-to-day, or?
Yeah, I'm not escaping as such because I'm very mentally involved in it. So it's not escaping, but it's definitely the time I spend alone. That it's my project. It doesn't involve friends, my girlfriend, my family. I always paint at night in the studio alone. So it's my time of the day or the evening.
Yeah, and why do you think you've chosen abstract art rather than more realism? Not because it's easier, I assume, or is there another reason behind
Gloves
it?
are off.
I'll give you a famous...
Oh, actually, one moment. The gloves are off.
Gloves are off.
The gloves are off.
I guess that comes from boxing. So if you're wearing gloves, it softens the blow, and if you're not, it hurts a lot more. So we use it to say that someone's saying things which are kind of potentially overstepping the line.
Or being aggressive, maybe.
That one hurt.
Yeah. So is it easier to do abstract?
Well, the famous quote from Picasso, Sam, would be that it took him 4 years to learn how to paint like Rafael, and a lifetime to learn how to paint like a child.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Can you explain that a little bit further?
It's pretty self-explanatory. But, it's chasing the naivety that you had as a child with trying to knock down the inhibitions that were, as an adult, you can't do something without thinking. You know, but as a 4-year-old, if you had a crayon, you just start drawing.
Yeah.
And that's what we're chasing. It's chasing the impossible, really. What Picasso was obviously chasing until death.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, because you may, yeah.
Yeah, when I was at university and I was studying poetry, I worked at the same time. I was working in a primary school and covering the lunchtime and basically looking after the kids when they were playing. And we were working really hard on our poetry, and we were kind of really thinking about things and trying to think in the purest sense that we could. And I was working in this primary school, and sometimes a child would come up to me and say something, and I would be like, I have to spend all day trying to think of a line like that, and you just say it naturally because it's the way you see the world, you know? And it's similar to what Michael was saying, because it's like we were having to work so hard to access a way of thinking that children just have, you know? So
yeah, very well put, Migs. Michael, has it been hard infiltrating the art scene in Spain, in Valencia?
Very difficult. Yeah, it was quite confronting, actually, because before I left for Spain, before I left Australia, I was semi-known in Melbourne. So I was selling some work and having quite successful exhibitions, and then to come to Spain and be totally unknown at the age of 39 years old was relatively frustrating. And it's Valencia in particular is a very difficult city to have successful exhibitions as far as sales go. Spain is a difficult country. Madrid, I guess, is where I would like to be in this country for exhibiting.
Migs, what is your experience trying to make it in such a competitive environment, world?
I think I had opportunities to go into professional writing when I left university, and I kind of had a bit of a kind of crisis of myself, because it's a very cliquey world. Go on, do I have to explain this?
Michael, can you help us with cliquey? No, back to me.
Basically, it's
cliquey or cliquey?
Yeah,
cliquey. I say.
I don't know cliquey. Sorry.
Cliquey, you can say too. Okay. Yeah. Just different pronunciation.
Yeah.
So it's like basically means that you have like a community, a tight community that kind of look after each other, and it's difficult to break into. Oh.
To break into.
Oh God, that look.
Entrar con esfuerzo.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good Spanish. Okay. Continue, please, Migs.
But yeah, I always found that that when you go into that world, you have to compromise. You always have to compromise if you want to make money, because well, some people don't, but you have to earn the right not to compromise. And especially in writing, I think in art, and maybe it's a similar thing in art actually, but in, for example, novel writing, if you write a book, you finish the book, and if they like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't, but you finish the book. With a script, you have to come with an idea, you tell them the idea, you boil it down into a sentence, a tagline. Oh no, boil it down.
It's a good one actually, to reducir, no? It's to reduce down to the basic points. Yeah. When you're making a paella, you boil down to just the rice and the ingredients, you lose the water. So when you're writing, it boils down to something.
Yeah, into the purest form.
Into the purest form,
and then
exactly.
you have to go to them with that. If they don't like it, they tell you to change it, then they have an input, and you kind of lose control of what you're doing. So it's extremely competitive, but it's also, there's a lot of people involved in managing what you do. And I sometimes think that if you care about what you want to do, just do it,
And enjoy it, yeah. Okay. And Michael, how is social media changing the game? Is it making it more difficult for yourself? Is it helping you?
It's a good question. I think about that daily. I'm on social media daily as an artist. It's changed the whole world, hasn't it? So rapidly. There are a lot of positives. For example, Instagram. Most of my inspiration I get now is from Instagram.
Okay.
Because every time I'm waiting for a doctor, waiting for a bus, bored, I'm looking at art. And you're not confined to the art that we used to you'd find in books, like Picasso, for example. Now I'm looking at artists that have never been heard of. I think this is fantastic. You've got to manage social media very carefully. I mean, in life, not as an artist, but it can be very damaging to your ego as well. Especially when you first get on. My first experience was with Instagram about 6 years ago, and I started posting all my paintings on there. I got all this recognition, like 140 likes for a painting. It was amazing.
Not bad.
And now I get sometimes 20.
I got 100 likes for a picture of myself.
It's not a competition, Sam.
but you win anyway, Michael.
I think you've got to be very careful not to take it as reality. This is not a score of your art, or what would you say? Not a reflection.
Yeah.
Reflection, yeah.
Not an honest reflection of the quality of your work. It's very dangerous in that sense. Mm.
And Migs, do you find the same?
Well, what Michael was saying about the kind of the negative aspects of social media, I think as well, people have more of they feel safer to say things on social media that they wouldn't say in reality, because they're not face to face with a person. So people can be kind of pretty rough, and sometimes you don't want everybody's opinion about everything,
On the other hand, as Mick said,
on the other hand,
breaking into the Valencian art world, it was a lot quicker for me. The art world itself, meeting local artists and finding a studio and being a part of the culture, the community, was a lot quicker due to social media, because I could find these people. Whereas it took me 10 years in Melbourne.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
To establish yourself.
To establish yourself as part of a community.
Right.
Exactly. To meet the other artists.
Yeah. And when you do eventually, when you do sell a piece, how does that
eventually? Come on, Sam.
I'm famous. Okay. When you sell another piece, is that what you meant to say?
Okay. Michael, when you sell another piece, how does that feel? What is that sensation like?
No, it's fantastic. Because look, art's quite expensive, and it's priced correctly because the amount of time and the materials we use and everything. But it's quite an expensive thing to buy. It's a luxury. So when someone's willing to spend up to 2,000 euros on something that you've created to put to decorate their living room, it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah.
And Migs, I know you're working on a script at the moment for a sitcom. Could you give us a brief outline of this script?
Yeah, I'll give you a brief outline without giving it all away. No, basically it's kind of like a drama as well as a sitcom, and it's based around a guy who is preparing for the end of the world, and he is teaching his niece how to survive.
Sabrina.
Oh yeah, how to survive the apocalypse. Yeah, it's a bit more complicated than that, but it's about lessons in how to basically make weapons, to crazy things all along the way. Yeah.
Okay. Well, boys, we are coming to the end of our time together. So, listeners, check out Michael at the Bloom Gallery if you want to see his work, and you'll have to wait for Migs to be on BBC with his sitcom. But very nice chatting to you both, and I look forward to seeing you both again soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Perfect.
Look forward, Sam. Come on.
Look forward to the students must know that by now. And that's a wrap for this Savvy Podcast episode on creativity. We've explored influences from childhood, had a laugh with British and Australian humour, dived into the Spanish art scene, and heard about our guests' latest projects. On top of that, we had some great vocabulary, such as to knock off, boils down to, and off the top of my head. So thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep those creative sparks flying. See you next time, and thank you very much for listening.